being 6:47, we'll actually call to order our Community Health Board meeting. And Melanie is with us, correct? Anybody else from staff? No. Okay. Good evening, Melanie.
Good evening. I'm glad to be here with you all tonight.
Thank you for joining us. Item number 2, approval of the minutes from January 26, 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Meyer to approve the meeting minutes, January 26th. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. 3, chairperson's report. Not a lot to report from a state aspect other than, you know, our rate keeps going, the COVID, our rate keeps going down and everything. But I did pick up out of the post, and I've seen some of these where people are posting, it's encouraging everybody to get vaccinated. And it's a campaign with Winona and Winona County Public Health to team up to encourage residents to get vaccinated. We need your support. And it's the idea that you can use social media to put a little message out there or take a selfie and figure out why you got vaccinated. And I'll reference, it was in the Winona Post on, I think it was Wednesday's edition. So if anybody wants to do that, if they want to become a COVID, have their 15 seconds of fame, they can be on the COVID website. And what a different world it is. Just go out into a, you know, a community, and it's changed so rapidly. It's awesome. I mean, it is. I was getting used to recognizing people from their eyes up, and now you can see their whole, you know, hopefully their smiling faces, which is a lot nicer than just the eyes and the hairline. I don't know if anybody else has anything to report in public health. No? No? Okay. All right. Moving on then. Item 4, consent business. Approve the Minnesota Department of Health Community Health Board grant project agreement for COVID-19 response and vaccine implementation, epidemiology, and laboratory capacity for infectious disease and immunization and vaccines for children. Melody, do you have anything to add to that particular grant?
Yeah, so this grant is federal funding. It's the 3rd increment of funding Winona County will receive to help us in our COVID-19 efforts. It is a larger sum, and it will help us continue to provide COVID-19 clinics. And we're, just so you all know, we are focusing, we're rechanging our efforts from holding mass clinics. So the June 9th and June 10th were sort of Winona County's last hurrah holding those mass clinics, and we're transitioning more to have pop-up clinics to target those 12+ individuals who were just recently approved to be administered for the Pfizer vaccine. So our first clinic is May 28th at the Music and Movies event. We're having a pop-up Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson clinic. So it's activities like that that these funds will help us continue to do.
Any questions or discussion on approving that particular grant? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I would move to approve the consent of business 4.1.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the consent business 4.1, the Minnesota Department of Health Community Health Board grant project. Any further discussion? Just a quick question, Melanie. I see other states and other communities are doing things, you know, like $1 million lotteries and free college education and a free beer. And we're not doing any of that, are we?
Not that I know. I know a lot of people have shared with me that they might move to Ohio to participate in that $1 million lottery, but nothing so far in the state of Minnesota.
Okay, just checking. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, approved. Any other general business that should come before the health board at this time? All right. If none, then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Meyer to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Adjourn. Thank you. Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All at the same time.
Yeah, in unison. When we were
Helps
doing
when
that
you're all in the
remotely, it was
same room.
delayed and it was very distracting. It was hard to do. So it's good everybody is here in the county boardroom. We'll open the meeting with public comment. If there are any speakers out in the audience that want to address the county board, please state your name and your address, and you each have 2 minutes to make any kind of public comments that you would like. We have nobody present at the board room, but is there anybody in the virtual world that would like to comment? And I'm not sure, I see, we have a big name, Bill.
yeah.
Bill, is Bill, who is Bill? No camera, no microphone. That's okay. We just see Bill. Is there anyone wishing to address the Winona County Board this evening? Is there anyone wishing to address the Winona County Board? And the last time, is there anyone wishing to address the Winona County Board? Seeing no action, we'll move on into our agenda. Item 4, approval of the county board meeting minutes from May 11th, 2021.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Jacob, seconded by Commissioner Kavesi to approve the meeting minutes, May 11th, 2021. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, meeting minutes approved. Item 5, acknowledge the receipt of approved committee minutes from 5.1 is the Economic Development Authority, January 28th, 2021. And 5.2, Parks and Environment Advisory Committee, March 2nd, 2021.
I'll move to acknowledge receipt of the committee minutes 5.1 and 5.2.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the receipt of the approved committee meeting minutes from 5.1 is the Economic Development Authority, January 28th, 5.2 Parks and Environment Advisory Committee, March 2nd. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. Consent comments and approval of the agenda. Mr. Fritz, anything?
I have nothing to change.
Okay. Commissioner Kavesi?
I have 2 committee reports at the end.
Okay. Commissioner Olson?
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Meyer?
Nothing, thanks.
Commissioner Jacob?
Nothing for me.
And I have nothing at this time. All right. So with that, a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I heard Commissioner Olson make the motion to approve the agenda as presented and Commissioner Kavesi second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, approved. Mr. Fritz, if you'd read that into the record, please.
All right, consent business department recommendation, 7.1, approve request for proposal with Gallagher Benefit Services. 7.2, approve Department of Natural Resources Snowmobile Grant in Aid Program resolutions for Minnesota Trail Assistance Program. 7.3, approve the monthly resolution. 7.4, approve renewal of grant agreement with Winona Volunteer Services for purchase of volunteer services. 7.5, approve Minnesota Department of Health Community Health Board grant project agreement for COVID-19 response and vaccination implementation, epidemiology, and laboratory capacity for infectious disease and immunizations and vaccines for children. 7.6, approve 2021 State of Minnesota Federal Supplemental Boating Safety Patrol Grant Agreement. And 7.7, confirm payment of disbursements. That concludes the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent business as read. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Jacob, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the consent business as read. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right. Just a comment, we did approve a snowmobile grant. I hope maybe this next winter we get snow so we can use those trails.
Yeah.
It's been kind of marginal the last couple of years. So. But they do get grants and make improvements to the trail system, which is important. Okay, item 8, general business. 8.1 was approve or deny future agenda item to discuss content of Human Rights Commission resolution. And this is in our process of, yes, Commissioner Meyer.
Yeah, so my goal is to acknowledge the positive that was in the Human Rights Commission resolution. I am concerned about racism and how it disproportionately affects Black, Indigenous, and youth of color in our legal system. The county board lacks the authority to enact a zero youth incarceration policy as the resolution asks, because we can't impose our will onto the courts or the Department of Corrections. But we do administer health and human services on behalf of the state. So I would hope that we could work with the Human Rights Commission, our Health and Human Services Advisory Board, and our staff to craft a resolution that speaks to the programming that we do have the ability to influence, with the goal of reducing and preventing kids being incarcerated. What I would envision is that we'll continue the mapping of services that's already been started by the CJCC, and see where we could improve things and see where, if there are gaps, so that we could make informed decisions about what would be effective. So I'm hoping to get 3 votes so that we can actually have a conversation about the content at our next meeting.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Kavesi.
Yeah, I was a second to this so that we could put it on this first step on our agenda. I'm in favor of working with the Human Rights Commission and with our county services. And what I envision is the full continuum of services for juveniles with emphasis on diversion and prevention, which I believe is part of what the community is asking for is community involvement, community diversion, and community services. So I would like to see us work with any of the groups that has a claim in this Human Rights Commission resolution, so that we can come up with something that we can all support in terms of programming that suits our juveniles in the county. So,
Commissioner Olson.
I've had several conversations with the chair of the Human Rights Commission, and I was kind of at odds with what they were requesting at the city level. Because like Commissioner Meyer said, we don't have the power or authority to say we have zero incarceration. And I think that, as explained during our last listening session, I think the county attorney's office and sheriffs and police do everything they can to find any alternative that's available before they would choose to do that. But there are times when that is the safest and best method to house somebody at that moment. So I will support the further conversation, but I do want to recognize our limitations.
yeah, that's
I
why
would-
I said the full continuum of services, because to me, that includes everything from the diversion and the prevention all the way to incarceration if it's needed. But you don't start there, obviously. And we obviously do not have the authority to not include that last option of incarceration. But if we include the full continuum, then we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right. I think that, and from what I experiences in the letters we've gotten and everything, right, there's a lot of education to be done. People think we can do more than we can, and our hands are very limited. There was a question though at the last, and I think we were all on that, the 3 of us were on that health advisory. To gather this information, I mean, there's several groups working on what programs are there and how we can analyze them. So I don't know if we can come to any resolution, next meeting or anything. This is ongoing, and is there a timeline for them to come with some kind of condensed report as to what's out there and how we're dealing with it and how we can deal with it differently? I didn't hear a timeline at that last meeting. And Marie?
Juvenile
Commissioner
justice,
Kavesi?
which I do have a report on for the end, at the end of the meeting. The work group met the other day, and they are in the process now of working through the steps of, it's a SIMS process, but since it's for juveniles, it's very different from the SIMS process we went through with adult
And
services.
can you explain what SIMS, it's an
It's
acronym.
the,
Hate to put you on the spot,
integration-
but-
Sequential intercept mapping.
it's, yeah, you look at the points of interception.
Right,
So the juvenile program is actually started at the Juvenile Justice Work Group, and they have had 2 sessions now looking at a flow chart for the juvenile, for truancy, just taking that part out of the juvenile system. And they intend to go on and continue looking at other parts of the process. So I don't think there is a timeline for that group, and that's not necessarily, you know, the Human Services Advisory Committee now wants to get into it, which is good because they have parts of it also.
right.
So the timeline is up in the air.
Okay, all right. And I know we got a note from Attorney Sonneman. She wanted to be here, but we're really not discussing it. We're just asking to move it
Discussing whether
forward
we
into
can-
a future. And my feeling is it won't be one meeting. It will be
Right.
and maybe a bigger work group with all the partners in the same room.
Well, the school board has part of the
Yes.
truancy, Department of Corrections, you know, it just gets kind of multiplied out there. So,
So do we have a motion?
I'll move to advance this.
I would second that.
Motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Kavesi to move the discussion of, I guess it's more than just even the Human Rights Commission resolution. It's the whole youth element of the puzzle. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay? All right, okay, so we'll keep working on it. I thought there was a interesting article in our most recent NACO newspaper. I think it was on the back page. It was like some county had taken a couple houses, and I think it was more foster care that they had converted. So sometimes you see articles in that NACO newspaper, but I think it was in the last one that just came. It was interesting in what they had done, and we're working on that element of the youth. All right, Commissioner Kavesi. You had
This is the flow chart from the juvenile truancy discussion. And the first side really is all prevention. And the second side is the court process. And even at the meeting, we amended this. So there's a new version of this about to be released. Truancy has been discussed at least 2 work group sessions now. And it requires quite a few players. It requires HHS, it requires school board input, Department of Corrections, and then the county attorney, and probably others that I'm not, well, community mental health, if school-based mental health is a part of it. So, you know, that's a lot to get together. So it's good to actually, you know, try to see what happens if this happens, or when HHS comes in, what is it exactly that they do, and things like that. So that's ongoing with the Juvenile Justice Committee work group, actually, for CJCC. The other work group that I attended was the Courts Committee, and we have 31 people in the Veterans Court, which is a huge number. They're looking at some grant money, perhaps, to get some additional resources. That's over 9 counties, I believe. The treatment court is having 2 graduations this Thursday, which is a really good program to stop in if you want to be uplifted and see somebody's hard work pay off. We talked about the eviction diversion program, and we talked about the SIMS program, which we had the SIMS exercise, which has been done, and we don't have a full report on it yet. So that's basically what happened in the Courts Committee.
Just one thing that I think it's on our calendar, but tomorrow night there is through the Engage Winona another, and did I understand it's going to be more small group discussions? It starts at 6 to 7:30, and it should be posted on our website, the Zoom link and everything. That's been well attended, and good information's been coming out of there with Brian Verding. So that is tomorrow night. Anything else to come before the board at this time? All right.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Commissioner Meyer to adjourn. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.
I think that's a record, 7:15.
Pretty good.
I stretched a little bit.
I got time to fix